Hi everyone, my name's Scott. Welcome to Planes, Trains, Everything, and welcome to Gare du Nord in Paris. Today I'm travelling between Paris and Brussels, but I'm not using a high-speed train, no. When I arranged this about 3 weeks ago, I was wondering what other ways are there to get between Paris and Brussels. So I did a bit of research. You can fly. You can fly from Charles de Gaulle to Brussels with Brussels Airlines. It will take 1 hour. It will set you back £200. Why would anyone want to fly that? Well, I think it's probably a feeder service for their international services from Brussels onto Africa, for example. You can use Flixbus. They will get you into Brussels in 4.5 hours. It will cost from £12. Thalys, the high-speed train, will take 1 hour 22 minutes and it will cost from £76. And even in the pre-Thalys days, when we had just express trains running between Paris and Brussels, it would still take 2 hours and 30 minutes. And I wondered, are there any non-high-speed regional trains that still operate between Paris and Brussels? And guess what? There's not. You can still use regional trains, but you do have to change along the way, and that's what I'm doing today. It's going to take about 8 hours. It will cost £41. Why would I want to do that? That's crazy. Well, travelling in an aluminium tube for an hour, paying over £200 is crazy. High-speed trains are pretty boring scenery-wise. You go straight there, you don't see anything. Travelling along a motorway in a Flixbus is the same, but a little slower. But trundling through the French and Belgian countryside, now that makes sense, and that's what I'm doing today. Our train leaves in approximately 1 hour and 20 minutes. Let's find out where it's leaving from. The first train is to Maubeuge, a place I've never heard of before, but at least it's appearing on the destination board. I'm just waiting for the platform number to appear.
Destination de Maubeuge. Je vous rappelle que vous devez être muni d'un titre de transport validé. Le départ de notre train est imminent. Nous invitons les personnes accompagnant les voyageurs à descendre du train.
At first I thought the windows were tinted, but they were just filthy. This carriage was built in 1980, so may have been used on the original trains. There was evidence of this former use with the luggage racks having spaces for seat reservation numbers. This was the longest leg at 2 hours and the most expensive at €20. This was the only portion of this epic journey which was purchased in advance. Welcome to Maubeuge. I've given myself 1 hour and 23 minutes connection time here because I think these trains from Paris run every hour, which means it was 1 hour and 23 minutes or 23 minutes. And remember, we're not in Switzerland, we're here in France. As it turned out, the train was running about 10 minutes late, managed to make up a couple of minutes time, but I've now got over an hour here. I can get my onward connection ticket issued and I can have a look around the town centre. Let's do that. That's me bought the next ticket, which is through to Charleroi. The nice lady at the station didn't speak any English and found my French pronunciations hysterical. Yeah, I've got about an hour now, and to be honest, there's not a great deal happening here in the centre of Maubeuge. But we'll have a little look around anyway. Might even have a coffee. If I can find a place that sells coffee. So far I've found a KFC, a Subway and a place called Tasty World, which doesn't fill me with much confidence. But I think I might have just stumbled across the main street. Aha! Well, there's not much happening here in Maubeuge. It must be a public holiday or something because most of the shops are actually closed, apart from a barber shop across the road there. I'm going to continue going along the main road here, otherwise back to the station. Well, I found a pub, a shoe shop, and a kind of a takeaway place that sold greasy chicken. I might be out of luck here, I think. KFC is actually looking a lot more attractive. Well, KFC seems to be the place to be here in town because it was absolutely packed, unlike the main street in town. I was going to get a coffee, then I thought, nah, because when you get coffee from places like KFC and McDonald's, it's pretty bland coffee. I mean, it just ticks a few boxes and that's it. I was hoping there'd be a little place where you can sit down, maybe have a croissant, have a coffee and relax a bit, but no, it's not a relaxing atmosphere in there because it was absolutely jammed. Right, I'm just heading back down to the station now. I'm not a regular customer of Subway, but that was one seriously strong coffee. Wow! And a chocolate donut as well, all for €2. Can't go wrong. Right, let's head back to the station and see if our train's on time. Wherever you find a KFC and a Subway, you'll eventually find the Golden Arches.
Chers voyageurs, bonjour et bienvenue dans ce train et sa destination de Charleroi centrale. Ce train fera arrêt à Erqueline, Erqueline Village, Sol-sur-Sambre, La Buissière, Fontaine-Valmont, Lobe, Thoin, Ourcq, Landly, Marchienne-Zone et Charleroi centrale. Gare terminus de ce train, prochain arrêt Erqueline. Chers voyageurs, dans quelques instants, vous arrivez en gare de Charleroi Centrale, gare terminus de ce train. En gare de Charleroi Centrale, vous trouverez correspondance avec le train IC à destination de la lumière sud et 11 de 14h45 à la voie 9. Vous trouverez également correspondance avec le train S61 à destination de Vila.
So that's the end of journey number 2. We're in Charleroi. I now have to buy my ticket to Ottignies. This is my Thos Cook timetable from 1989 and dates before the explosion of high-speed lines across Europe. These trains have a purpose, but they lack the romance and personality I think was part of their attraction. From my 1989 Thos Cook timetable, there are a number of trains with names operating between Paris and Brussels. I've written some of their names down on a piece of cardboard. Molière, Parsifal, Ile-de-France, Rubens, Étoile du Nord, Brabant and the Gustave Eiffel. This is why I love Polish trains, because they've all got names. And here are some of the more exotic ones that passed through that area and went on to more distant locations. The Flanders Riviera Express, why would you not want to travel on that? And the Viking Express, how exciting, probably went to Copenhagen or somewhere. Okay, I was last here in Charleroi, 8 months ago, and outside the station was a complete and utter construction zone. Let's see what they've achieved in that time. Well, it's still a construction site out here, but I think it's going to be pretty impressive once it's finished. It's going to be a kind of a tram and bus interchange area, so I might have to come back in a year's time to see what it looks like then. In the meantime, I have a train to catch to Ottignies.
Gare terminus de ce train, prochain arrêt Charleroi Ouest.
Le prochain arrêt est Charleroi Ouest.
Okie dokie, we've got 35 minutes here in Ottignies now to get my ticket for the fourth and final leg through the Brussels Midi.
Bruxelles et Ottignies de 16h45.
Platform A. Well, 8 hours after leaving Paris, we arrive into Brussels Midi. I won't lie, it was a long day, but it was fascinating as well, especially the area around the French-Belgian border. I hadn't realised how picturesque that was, and I will actually have to go back and explore it in detail. The railway line followed a river that wound its way through the mountains or the hills, and each little town and village seemed to have its own personality. Worth looking into. Anyway guys, thanks very much for coming with me on this alternative way between Paris and Brussels, and I'll see you next time.